Imagine becoming the world's first trillionaire, a mind-bending number with 12 zeros. Well, that possibility is no longer just sci-fi. This week, Elon Musk briefly broke through the $500 billion net worth barrier, a milestone no one else has touched. What does this moment tell us about power, innovation, inequality? And what could come next if he actually hits a trillion? In today's video, we dive deep into how Musk got here, the odds he'll cross into the trillions, and the bigger questions his rise forces us to confront. Stay tuned. You're not going to want to skip this. First, let's set the stage. On October 1st, 2025, Elon Musk's net worth, per Forbes' real-time billionaire tracker, briefly exceeded $500 billion. Moments later, it dipped back toward $499 billion. But that fleeting moment still matters greatly, not just symbolically, but in what it reveals about how fortunes are made today. Most of Musk's wealth isn't sitting in a bank account. It's in stocks, heavily concentrated in Tesla, and in stakes in SpaceX and his AI venture, xAI. Because of that, his valuation is extremely volatile. It can swing hundreds of billions up or down in days. According to Bloomberg, Musk's estimated net worth as of October 2025 is around $470 billion. Meanwhile, other outlets like Forbes reflect that $500 billion peak. So already, we see the flux. The high water is more a signal than a sustained plateau. This landmark is more than just bragging rights. Crossing $500 billion pushes the envelope of what individual wealth can mean in the 21st century. It raises sharp questions. How much control does one person hold over companies, technologies, markets, and ultimately our future? What would you do if you suddenly inherited $500 billion? Drop your wildest idea in the comments below. Let's see who dreams the biggest. To understand how Musk got here, and how far he might go, we need to examine his core assets, Tesla, SpaceX, and xAI. Let's break down their roles, the risks, and how much weight each carries in his wealth empire. Musk owns roughly 12 to 13% of Tesla, making any value swing in Tesla disproportionately affect his net worth. Tesla's market cap recently topped $1 trillion, a psychological and structural achievement. But here's where it gets audacious. Tesla's board has proposed a compensation package, if fully realized, that could be worth up to $1 trillion to Musk over 10 years, contingent on exotic targets. This plan hinges on Tesla hitting $8.5 trillion in market value, plus ambitious output, robotics, AI, and vehicle delivery goals. Skeptics are loud. A coalition of investors, union groups, and state officials are actively pushing to vote this down at the November 2025 shareholder meeting, citing dilution, insufficient board independence, and vague metrics. In essence, Tesla is both the accelerator and the risk zone. If it skyrockets, Musk profits disproportionately. If it stumbles, his fortunes may unravel just as fast. Musk has a large stake, often reported at 42% in SpaceX, which recently floated valuations around $400 billion. SpaceX's revenue streams include Starlink, defense NASA contracts, launch service fees, and future ambitions, e.g. Mars, lunar infrastructure. Unlike Tesla, SpaceX is private. That gives Musk more control but less liquidity. Any valuation gains may not be fully accessible until a future IPO or large private funding round. One of Musk's most speculative plays is xAI, his AI research startup. It is reportedly in fundraising rounds valuing it as high as $200 billion, though some sources cite $75 billion in more recent rounds. The centerpiece is Colossus, a supercomputer and training engine intended to rival leading large language models like OpenAI's ChatGPT. However, AI is a crowded and brutally competitive space. OpenAI, Anthropic, Google, Microsoft, and others are already investing at scale. xAI must prove not just raw scale, but novel value. When you stack them, Tesla's leverage, SpaceX's private upside, and an AI moonshot, you begin to see how someone could push into the $500 billion territory and beyond. But this is no sure thing. Let's now ask, what does the path to trillionaire look like? To cross from $500 billion to $1 trillion, Musk needs more than incremental growth. He needs exponential compounding. Analysts often use a bold assumption: 110% annual growth in net worth. Under that model, he would double every 0.9 years. That trajectory points to 2027 as a magical threshold. That's the same 2027 target many pundits and wealth forecasting reports cite. But here's the thing. That model is optimistic, assuming conditions stay ideal, markets stay bullish, no major setbacks, and all his companies execute flawlessly. Rare in real life. So what obstacles lie in wait? 1. Market saturation and competition. Tesla faces battles from Chinese EV makers, BYD Xpeng, legacy automakers going electric, and supply chain volatility. AI is a brutal battlefield. Elon's XAI cannot rely on name recognition alone. 2. Governance and capital limits. The proposed $1 trillion pay package depends on shareholder approval and will add massive stock dilution risks. Some of the directors on Tesla's board are under fire for independence concerns. Moreover, Musk's attention is divided across multiple ventures: Neuralink, Boring, X, diluting focus. 3. Regulation, backlash, and political risk. Musk routinely courts controversy with his social and political stances. That invites regulatory scrutiny, reputational risk, and consumer backlash. Also, Tesla has historically benefited from government subsidies and EV incentives. Changes in subsidy regimes or policies could hurt. In 2025, Tesla's Tesla takedown protests emerged globally, targeting Musk's political influence. 4. Wealth concentration and public resentment. As Musk edges into trillionaire territory, narratives of inequality, monopoly power, and unchecked AI dominance will intensify. That could fuel activism, regulation, and investor hesitancy. 5. Valuation versus cash reality. Much of Musk's wealth is on paper. If markets tumble, or if he needs to liquidate for capital, valuations can collapse. The private side, SpaceX, XAI, may not provide immediate liquidity. Imagine a scenario where Tesla stock crashes 50% in a single quarter. What happens to Musk's net worth? Pause the video and try doing the math. It's messy. In short, while projections to 2027 look tantalizing, they ride on a tightrope of risk, execution, and luck. Musk's march toward becoming a trillionaire may be fascinating, but it raises a host of deeper questions. Let's dive into some of the critiques and unsettled debates. Some skeptics argue much of Musk's wealth arises from hype and multiple levels of valuation layering, not from tangible social value or sustainable earnings. They ask, is Musk's net worth a sign of real innovation or of favorable financial engineering? On Tesla's pay package, critics note the targets are opaque and that Musk's control over the board makes oversight weak. Meanwhile, the proposed metrics include huge goals like delivering 12 million EVs by 2035 and producing 1 million Optimus robots, goals that some believe are less challenging than they sound. Corporate power and influence. As Musk's reach expands across energy, transportation, AI, space, his influence over infrastructure and public policy becomes immense. Wealth inequality. The chasm between ultra-billionaires and average citizens already looks obscene. A trillionaire sends that message into absurd territory. Tech concentration risk. If a few individuals control the dominant AI platforms, space systems, energy networks, the risk of centralization, censorship, or misalignment spreads. Democratic oversight. Should one person have de facto power over multiple systems integral to society? Should there be guardrails? Philanthropy versus structural change. Musk funnels capital via the Musk Foundation, which supports renewable energy, education, and safe AI. But does billion-scale giving challenge the root causes of inequality or merely offer bandages? Let's run a counterfactual. Suppose by 2030, Tesla's growth slows, AI flops, and markets reset. Musk's net worth could tumble. The flip side of exponential rise is exponential fall. Large fortunes are fragile. History is full of magnates who lost it all. It's tempting to see this narrative as either heroic or dystopian. Reality will likely be somewhere in between. Which do you lean toward? Is Musk's ascent ultimately a force for progress or a harbinger of concentrated corporate power? Share your take below. Best arguments might be featured in a future video. Scenario A. 2025, Tesla compensation vote passes. Musk begins unlocking new stock tranches. 2026, Tesla breaks $2-3 trillion valuation. AI breakthroughs from XAI gain public traction. SpaceX launches major commercial projects. 2027, Musk crosses $1 trillion in paper net worth. Media dubs him the first trillionaire. 2028 to 2030, Musk maneuvers to channel more of that wealth into infrastructure, AI governance, and space colonization, while facing backlash from regulators. Scenario B, the stumble. 2025, vote fails or key milestones not met. 2026, EV slowdown, supply chain disruptions, economic headwinds drag Tesla. 2027, AI race intensifies, XAI struggles to keep up. 2028 onward, Musk's net worth plateaus or dips, he restructures stakes, divests parts, or steps back from executive roles. The point? The road to $1 trillion is nonlinear and fraught with forks. Some paths lead upward, others drop off steep cliffs. Finally, a quick comparison. Who else is chasing the Trillionaire Club? Gautam Adani, India, has been flagged as a possible candidate by 2028, depending on growth. Jensen Huang of NVIDIA, Mark Zuckerberg Meta, and Bernard Arnault are also occasionally floated as future trillionaire contenders under ideal compounding models. But as of now, Musk has the most clear, though still audacious, shot. We've traced the arc from $500 billion to the possible trillion through Tesla's valuations, SpaceX ambition, AI bets, boardroom battles, and the moral questions embedded in the climb. Will Elon Musk become the first trillionaire by 2027? It's bold, it's fragile, it's speculative, but not impossible. Whether it happens or not, the journey itself is a modern archetype of ambition, power, risk, and the technological era we live in. If you found this video illuminating and want to go deeper into Musk's AI strategies or compare him to other mega wealth figures, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell. I'll be creating follow-ups that explore those avenues in detail. Also, I want to hear from you. In the comments, do you believe Musk will hit $1 trillion? What's the boldest thing you'd do with $1 trillion? Which of Musk's ventures are you most skeptical about? Let's build a conversation here. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.